Welcome back to another episode of the Fake Friends podcast. We're ripping with episode 13. Here we are, back at it for another week. Before we get things started, just want to let you know, we do have a link in every description to our other social media platforms and album we have out. In the description, takes you to the tree link. Is that what it's called? Or link tree. What's the name of that? Link tree. Yep. Click the link tree and boom, pulls up everything. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I think, etc. Everything. Our albums, Apple Music, Spotify, music. So all the good stuff. Yeah, all the good stuff. But yeah, man, what's going on? How we doing?
Oh, we're doing good, man. You know, just got back in from a nice little workout.
Nice.
Keep my mind at peace. Good workout.
Oh yeah, I had a great workout this morning. Went ham, shredded the back. It's pretty much you can grade cheese off my back right now. I started running again. Yeah, I started running.
There you go.
Again.
Yeah, you know me too. Me and a couple of my homeboys, we started running hills. You know, last week. Getting some cardio and cardiovascular, and it's good. Feels good to get it going.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm like, man, I want to feel like an athlete again. I want to feel like when I'm running, like my muscles just moving, like just feeling that meat missile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just feel that strength and
solid rock.
Yeah, I just need to feel it. Yeah. Yep.
It's probably a mental condition. We should get checked out, but
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm definitely fucking deranged, but it is what it is. Like you said. Yeah, man, great workout. I don't know. I've been going to the gym, you know, and you hit those lulls and you're like, you're going because you know you need to go to maintain, but mentally you're not there.
Absolutely.
I've been there mentally. Like I'm like there and I'm like, I just want to fucking grip shit and rip shit. That's how I feel. Like,
you know, that's where
I just feel like, yeah, I'm in a good spot.
When you do get those lows, I think that's your body telling you to rest, and you got to take that rest period and then revamp it and get back in. Your body will appreciate it. And then you'll get back in and you'll be on 10 ready to go. Yeah. Cause those happen. You know, it feels redundant. It gets to a point of like redundancy with the workout, but got to do it, man. Got to do it. It's better.
That's why I think I started running. Yeah, to get it. Like, I was switching up, get it going different.
I was telling my bud the other day that it's not even so much like for physical appearance, I think working out is more for like your mental like capacity of just being sane and at peace with yourself. It just gives you like a sense of like productivity and purpose that you can't get, you know, elsewhere, I think, but maybe, you know, to each his own. It might be personal to everybody as an individual. So, but yeah, man, feeling good. You know, workout's good. MLB free agency's taking off. It's fun to keep up with. Some wild things. I see you repping the Rangers. They're making moves. They just signed two hot boys, Marcus Semien.
Which you know, I mean, we've been saying here in our conversations, you know, on the phone, been saying they're signing a shortstop. I always said it'd probably be Trevor Story, but they're signing a shortstop. So when they signed Semien, like yesterday, I was like, bro, they're about to sign a shortstop. And they sign a shortstop, they're solid.
I thought it was going to be Correa, personally.
Yeah, me too.
But when they signed Semien, who I thought was going back to Toronto, and like we talked earlier, like they're getting a shortstop. I even think the Seager might even be a better fit.
Lefty at that ballpark?
Because you had a left-handed bat that's playing your shortstop. You got Semien in that 1-2 spot. Like they're making some things happen with those two signings. So
yeah, you know, you just lock them in for 2 and 3 in your lineup. I don't know. I mean, they could always bring back Joey Gallo for an affordable price. You know,
Rizzo?
I don't know.
Who's their first baseman?
It's been this dude Guzman or something. Some just like.
Because I don't think Rizzo's a lock.
I don't think shit on him. Like basically like an average player.
I don't think Rizzo's locked.
No, I think he's going back to Chicago. But the Rangers, dude, you know, they have some pretty decent young talent there. Who knows? You know, they have that Nick Solak kid who is supposed to be an infielder. Maybe they move him to third. They do have the Josh Jung kid in their system. If he pans out, shit, they could have a fucking solid infield. I mean, Jack Leiter should be pitching in the bigs this year. That's just no question about it. There's no need for him to waste any arm action in the minor leagues. Like, put his ass on the bump.
He'll probably start there. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he made the big league roster out of spring training, but Yeah, you're right. He should be in the bigs this year. This coming, at least, the start of the season.
There's no reason for him to be in the minors just to add innings on the arm. Makes no sense. He's good enough.
Kid can pitch. Kid's got big league stuff. He should be there.
And he's got the mentality too, man. So, very exciting day for the Rangers. Exciting day for the Mariners. They got Robbie Ray. That's a nice pickup. You heard like rumblings about them maybe getting Simeon or another shortstop, but they're pretty high on the JP Crawford kid at short, so they weren't going to move him. They technically could still sign someone. They could put someone. Yeah, they could put someone at third or second. So it's like they could still do stuff. The promise for the Mariners is they're promising young outfield. You still have Kyle Lewis who didn't play last year.
Kyle Lewis over there.
Still, an all-star caliber player. They have Julio Rodriguez coming up the system that people are high on. They just called up Kalenic. And they still have Mitch Haniger, who's quietly one of the better players in the MLB. Guy fucking rakes.
Yeah, he does. He hits.
If you ever look at his numbers. So, Mariners getting Robbie Ray, which is weird because I'm pretty sure Robbie Ray and Kevin Gossman's contract were pretty similar. So for the Jays to not sign Robbie Ray,
I thought was going
maybe
back
he didn't want to be there. I don't know. I thought they all were. At least with the Jays, though, with not signing Simeon, I'm not saying maybe they did want to keep him, maybe for a different price. I'm assuming they weren't going to give him as many years as Texas did. Texas probably gave him a great fucking contract compared to maybe other teams are doing like 4 or 5 year deals and he got 7. So
I personally don't think that was the case that Toronto didn't want him. I think it was more Simeon. I don't know.
You never know. I don't know. Again,
maybe he just didn't want to be there for 7 years. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Who knows? Maybe it was a 5 or 6 year deal. Maybe it was very comparable, and he was like, "I'd rather just live in the States and Texas." Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't unless we get those details. We won't know. But they do have the Jays still have a good system. They have a shortstop, Groshans.
They got the young bucks too. And Biggio.
They got the young bucks.
They got Biggio.
Biggio.
If he can figure out how to toughen up a little bit, he probably could be really productive for him. So
he's got a great swing and a great eye. He just needs to, he needs to get some tougher skin. Seems like, I don't want to shit on someone. Yeah, I don't want to shit on someone for having injuries, but didn't sound like he was. I don't know, dude. I just know. I'll put it this way: when I played baseball, if I were attached to I was playing. That's all that mattered. It didn't matter if I had like a knife in or like bullet wounds. If like my limbs were on, I'm playing. And for a fact that I played with elbows torn, shoulders torn. Yeah,
there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. And some guys don't play hurt. Some guys, turn hurt into injury. So I'm not saying that's him. I don't know. It just
I don't know.
But yeah, baseball free agency, coolest place right now.
You can't forget it's crazy because Scherzer, not to cut you off, but then you have Scherzer going to the Mets, who I didn't expect him going to the Mets. I thought he was a lock for LA because they weren't signing Kershaw.
Yeah.
Who the Rangers should sign, by the way. Kershaw should sign with the Rangers.
Watch. Some guys shaking up. Isn't he from there?
He's a Texas kid. That's why.
Texas kid, right? Yeah. Baseball free agency shaking up is panning to, looks like it's going to kind of shift some powers at B maybe next year in the league in terms of who's expected to do what. Because if the Dodgers don't sign Scherzer, which they didn't, they don't sign Kershaw, they lost Seager, are they as strong of a team as they have been, perceived to be? I know they got Turner still there. They got, if Bellinger's healthy, they got Mookie Betts, of course. Both Turners, per se. But you lose Corey Seager, you lose Max Scherzer, who you just got, and then if you don't re-sign Kershaw, you were already kind of hurting in the pitching staff. I think you're relying on Buehler and you're relying on your right, Julio to kind of carry it. Then it's kind of like, who's the top dog? Who's that top dog in the
I think the Padres, man. The Padres right now are licking their chops going, man, we didn't lose anyone, so we're feeling just as strong. They're going to get back Clevenger, apparently. And he can chuck it. So they got a new manager.
Hopefully Blake Snell turns out to be what he once was also.
Yeah, Blake Snell, he's got great stuff. I just think he's not I'm not saying his Cy Young was a fluke, but I'm not expecting him to be a 2 or a 1. I think he's a 3 or a 4 for sure, who can be really effective as a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
Like, I think he adds depth to a rotation. Again, I'm not trying to shit on him. He can pitch, but yeah, I think he can get you 10 wins and pitch 180 innings for sure. But yeah, the Padres, dude. I know they traded Adam Frazier, but they didn't have space for him anyways. You know what I mean? You need to keep Fernando at short. And
although he's playing everywhere else other than short.
Right.
They got him playing
I think the NL West is clearly the Padres. I mean, the Giants, I don't care what anyone says. They weren't good, and you got to give them credit for being good. But they're not signing Chris Bryant. They just lost Kevin Gossman, who was awesome for them. They just lost Buster Posey, who played awesome for them. Brendan Crawford's only getting older, so please remind me who's playing for the Giants. That's all I'm saying. You know, unless they have some youth coming up that's going to step in, which is also very possible. But I'm not expecting them to do anything this year. 500 or like 10 games under 500. You know what I mean?
That's why I think, you know, you've kind of had the Dodgers. You've kind of had the Dodgers as this top dog the past 4 or 5 years or so.
Longer than that.
It's 2000
because they weren't
21.
They weren't winning. They weren't. It might be closer to
I say 16, right? No. 13, they weren't. When did they went to the series?
Dude, even in 15, they've been going to the playoffs.
15, yeah. Since they've been going to the playoffs since like Bellinger kind of broke up there and
just before.
So I think that I just wonder if it's kind of coming to an end. Coming to an end for him. I still think teams to watch are teams like the White Sox. They just have an electrifying lineup. And then, like you said, the Padres should be licking their chops like now's our time.
Yeah.
What we got.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the White Sox bring back their lefty, Carlos Rodon, because he's a free agent.
Yeah.
And he's going to get a market. I think a sleeper pickup is Nick Castellanos. Where he goes, I think I fuck with that guy, man. He's a gamer and he's a baseball player. So I think he could really and
maybe the Mets
the payment.
Maybe the Mets turn around too. If they re-sign Baez, they got with the Scherzer, maybe they're actually good.
Well, yeah, like I'm not trying to shit on this guy. Starling Marte, I don't value like this superstar player, but one thing he does well is he's explosive. He's not really always healthy, but I mean, he puts the ball in play. He does have like a higher average, but that's a sneaky pickup. He can add a dynamic to their lineup. And then the two other guys they signed, Kana, is that how you say his name? And then the Eduardo Escobar kid, third baseman, Mark Kana.
Yeah,
that's a sneaky pickup. Again, the name's not going to woe you, but he can add depth to a lineup. You know what I mean? To just help extend days for guys. He's versatile. You can move him around, and he's gonna give you quality ABs. And then you have the Escobar kid who's under the radar for a solid player, switch hitter, can swing it. That should be an interesting dynamic there, especially if they bring back Baez. So it's like you look at the Mets, who always get shit on for not doing anything by their fan base.
That's why I think Baez comes back.
Yeah, I think they could sign Scherzer. I'm telling you right now, dude. The Red Sox, if they were to sign anyone, it should be Javi Baez, because they don't need a third baseman and they don't need a shortstop. And it seems like they want to play Kiki in center, Kiki Hernandez. So it's like, put Baez there. He's versatile. Put him at second. You lock your infield. I mean, first base is still a question because their rookie Dahlback's actually a third baseman. They moved him to first, but they should play him there every day. But they're not going to do anything, dude. The Red Sox, if you're a Red Sox fan, you should not fucking like your team because, dude, they signed Michael Wacha and they like try to act like that was like a great signing. I'm like, dude, Michael Wacha was nasty his rookie year. And he's been average ever since. Like, okay, yeah, core gives him the core.
But maybe they're building.
But here's the point I'm trying to make.
They got some draft picks.
No. Here's the point I'm trying to make though, real quick, is I do like Michael Walker, but I'm not expecting him. They're just trying to fucking fill the gaps for the years, like you said, for building. But dude, their ownership just bought the Penguins. Like, dog, you trying to win in baseball? What are you trying to do? Because that money you used to buy the Penguins, you could have used to sign some free agents. Like, what the fuck? So now they own the Red Sox, Liverpool football, and the Pittsburgh Penguins hockey team. So it's like, okay, they don't care about winning. Baseball is just a fun thing for them. They got their money manager from Tampa to come in and find talent at a marketable price. They're going to trade Rafael Devers because they're not signing him. He's getting $300 million. They better trade him now.
Yeah,
because that dude's getting fucking paid. He'll be a free agent in 2 more seasons, I believe. 2024. So maybe
and
3 more seasons. Yeah,
a kid like that. Kid like that, he's gone if they haven't locked him up already. Like if they don't give him a deal like Tampa just did Wander,
they should be giving Devers now a deal.
If they're not extending him right now, he's out of there.
They should go Devers. Here's $250, 10 years.
I don't even think you got to do that. I think you can get him for under 2. How old is he? 23. I think you can get him.
He's going to deny that.
You could give him Simeon's contract and he would sign it. You give him $25 million a year because he'd only be 30.
Yeah,
you could get that kid $180 million for 7 years, man, and like that would be an extension for a kid that's 23. If they're not doing that now, they're not waiting until he's a free agent and his market is above $200 million. It's just I don't know. I know nothing. These are all this is all speculation in terms of what I would do if I was in a GM seat. So.
Well, I'd be getting players to win. That's what I'd be doing.
Exactly. Like, I'm the GM that would have signed. I'm the GM that would have signed Seager, Story, and Correa, and had all 3 of them on the infield. So I would have put Seager. I would have put Seager at third. I would have had Story at second and Correa at short. I'd have signed them all. Yep. I would have signed them all.
I'd be like, yo, because you guys are playing out of position on certain days because we'll be rotating, platooning.
So
guys.
what?
I'd be like, hey. You know what? You're going to boot a ball at third a second because you're not used to playing there. You know what I don't want you to do? Think about it. You're going to come up the next inning and hit a fucking jack. It's going to be a race.
Period. Like Story steals bags. Correa's clutch. Seager's balanced left-handed hitter. Like I'd want all 3 of those kids in my lineup as free agents.
Dude, so I would have in Correa's contract that he has to do something absolutely reckless emotionally every game. Like he has to like flip someone off or like throw his bat over the backstop. Like he has to do something hype because like that kid is dynamite. Like when he hit that home run, like dude, I was watching this game live. I know you weren't. He hit this ball and I was like, bro, he hit it. I was like, oh, that's gone. But like the way he reacted at the plate, he made you think that he thought it was foul. And then like after a split second, I went, oh no, he's pimping it, and he just my time pounds his chest, and I go, this fucking dude, like, are you kidding me, dude? He's a gamer. Yes. So
he knows what it is.
Man. I don't know. I mean, they're gonna lock out Wednesday, so
we'll see what comes of that.
We'll see. I don't think it'll be long. They do have in the on negotiating table division winners picking their wild card opponent. I think that's fucking awesome. I know traditionalists is probably losing their mind. I think that's fucking cool.
I don't think anyone should be upset at that because here's the dynamic I think that adds. You always have a storyline with that wild card matchup.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so cool.
As the division leader, you pick, I want to play them. So clearly you don't pick an opponent you don't think you can beat. And if I'm the wild card, awesome. I'm hitting your first guy in the head just because you picked us to play.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. I think it's great. It's like, oh, we're gonna play them because they just came off a tough series to end the year. Their pitching staff's out of whack in terms of like who they want going. You know what I mean? It's like
they're expecting to beat you. And so like I'm not saying that you don't go into every game expecting to win already. Someone. But you're picking your opponent. The fact that you get to pick your opponent, it's like a blatant, hey, you're lesser, you suck, we can beat you message sent because you picked to play them. And if I'm that wild card team, like I would love to be a manager of that wild card team and be like, hey, some team's going to pick us. That means they think they can beat us. And like I'm running with that. And like I said, it would just fire up 1 through 25 on my roster. It will fire them up. So I think that dynamic's great because imagine picking a team and that team comes out and kicks your ass in the wild card.
Dude.
Imagine that. You know, and I'm sure you'll have all kind of decisions being made by analytical matchups on paper. Like, well, this is why we picked this team because on paper,
yeah, the MIT version.
Like that's gonna happen. But when it comes down to just flat out competition where there's no stat for whether or not you have fucking balls, like that's something that factors in. I think that dynamic coming into playoff baseball is gonna be pretty exciting to watch. Pretty exciting to see. So
yeah. I mean, dude, I'm here for it. You know, I hope they do it. I think it'd be great. I know, like I said, traditional she'll be like short circuiting and shit, but like, you know, the point of just picking your opponent and the story. Oh man, storylines.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Absolutely,
we'll see. I am curious. You know, so it's probably about another like 24. What was it, like 30 hours till they lock out? 31 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
No, 30 hours. So I'm sure we'll see more free agents sign, but for ones who don't, I don't know. But I mean, dude, if we get, what do you say? We said Correa, Story, and Baez still not signed. Just talking shortstops, you know.
Chris Bryant,
Castellanos.
Like I said, Rizzo.
You know who dude, the kid Iglesias for the Angels, the reliever. Someone should be picking him up, dude. Like that's an arm. I don't know. It's very interesting. I think there's a lot of pieces out there that you could add to your team for the right price to make yourself better. You know, it'll be interesting to see where the remaining guys go, for sure. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. The winter meetings are what, 2 weeks?
2 or 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll be starting up baseball sooner than later, you know. I don't know how many people enjoy it as much as me personally. Like, and dude, that's another one. Freddie fucking Freeman, dude. Like, how are the Braves? One of the guys I follow on Twitch, he's a huge Braves fan. He was talking about how, you know, you're assuming he's gonna get locked up, but dude, he's not. Dude, what if another team signs him?
Bro,
what if the Rangers sign him?
Freddie Freeman. Does Kyle Seager go play with his brother down in Texas? He's a free agent too.
Yeah, why not? Because you could probably get him for like $3.
Cheap. Yeah, cheap.
What's Freddie Freeman's market? How old is he? He's at least 32, right?
He's 31. A little older. Yeah, he's 32. So he's looking at probably 32. A 5 to 7 year deal. Jock Peterson made a market for himself too. I mean,
what about
Schwarber's a free agent?
I just think Freddie Freeman is a Brave for life. It's like Chipper Jones. I don't see him leaving there.
I don't know where he goes. I don't know where he goes anywhere else.
You know, but it's like, let's say hypothetically he doesn't. Who's signing him? I mean, all these teams need first baseman. The Yankees, the Sox. I'm talking just market teams. I mean, shit, you could even see the Padres make a play for him. They could trade Hosmer, who hasn't really done much there. You know, shit, even the Dodgers could fucking sign him. You know what I mean? Like,
very true.
Who knows?
There's a lot of arms out here, man.
Yeah, I think Freddie Freeman. I would like to see him stay at Atlanta because I think him and Acuna together are awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, shit, if he went to a new team, that would be pretty cool too. You know?
Wow.
So who's the best arm out there right now? Is it Rodon?
I would have to say Kershaw, honestly. Rodon's 29. I know Kershaw's 35, but I mean, going on 35, but dude can pitch. So I still think he's your he'd probably be like mine. He'd probably be who I'd be going after.
Kersh.
You know, you got Trevor Cahill out there. It's 33. I think most of your impact guys, you know, your ones, your twos is gone. You got some guys that could be solid threes. outside of Rodon and Kershaw, but I think it'll be interesting. I'm just looking at the shortstop class again. Only one of them is signed, and you got Baez, Story, Correa, Iglesias, Galvis.
Freddie Galvis, not a bad player. Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many of them. So many of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's hang on. You ready? All right. You ready for this?
Yeah.
There's 19 reported second basemen that are free agents. How many of them can you name?
Well, none, because the ones I think of are shortstops.
And Simeon's at the top. Simeon's at the top of that list.
Yeah. So I remember I said this to you. I was like, dude, there's no second basemen in Major League Baseball that I would sign. I would literally...
I would turn my shortstop into a second baseman.
Yeah, turn my shortstop into a second baseman. Absolutely.
There's not a single one. You know? Yeah. I'm interested to see where Rizzo goes too. Also, that'd be interesting to me. But
I really think he's going back to what do you call it? Chicago. I do. I think
you think him and Chris should go back?
See, Chris, I think it's up to him, because I still think he can get a decent contract, but I don't think the Cubs are looking to spend to keep him, to get both him and Rizzo. I think they just get Rizzo more so of like a fan favorite thing to kind of give them something as they rebuild. They have some prospects to be excited about. Supposedly the Brennan Davis kid's supposed to be electric.
Yeah.
But moving forward, Baez, if I had to pick between Bryant, Baez, Rizzo to go back, I would say Rizzo. And then Chris Bryant, man, it's just crazy that this dude, former MVP, people just, I don't know if it's because of his age, but I'm like, man, they really don't like him. They don't like it. Gosh, I think he should have, 80% of the teams in the league.
Not even just fans. Chris Bryant's only 30 years old. Not even just fans, right? but sports. I mean, like, analysts and media are just as fickle as the fan. And like Chris Bryant, like you said, is an MVP. He's an all-star third baseman. And look at what they did with, not what they did or who they are, but look at the perception of Bryce Harper. Guy just won MVP. And it's like he was written off to be overrated for like the last 2-3 years.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Baseball's a game where baseball's not an overnight game where you're good. Like you don't necessarily lose the ability to be dominant or impactful in baseball. It's a game that has its ups and downs, and you can't, judge and predicate the value of players on a period of a down period, in my opinion, over the course of a career. Like Bryce Harper just won his second MVP.
Yep.
And he was called overrated.
Yep. Dude, it's insane.
that doesn't even add up.
I don't listen to any of the of like anyone really talk baseball. I mean, I have friends that watch it, so they have a pretty good perspective for sure. But like I just pay no mind. I don't listen to any local radio, nothing. There's only it's really only like the former players on MLB Network that I respect their inputs. I think they're pretty fucking solid and unbiased for their like analysis of teams and performances of players. Brian Kenny, I'll fucking ninja kick in the head. I just think he's a big idiot. I think
it's his voice, man. It's the way he talks.
Because he knows his shit. He just chooses, I feel like, to say dumb shit. Like he's actually really smart. But
I think it excites him to say off the wall shit. It excites him.
Yeah, like he's like, analytics. Like
it excites him.
Like Trout,
It excites him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Well, I will say it's very cool to see the free agents signing now. I think it's very rare to see this many free agents, big name free agents, sign so early in baseball. Usually, it's around the winter meetings to like January. The last few seasons, it was like March. I mean, remember when Bryce Harper signed in fucking spring training? It's like, how is Bryce Harper?
Yeah.
Dude.
And I'm telling you, that's the time where his market was down.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like, I don't know if he's worth the big contract. I mean, granted, I know the Dodgers, I still think Bryce Harper, like, I know he did what he wanted to do. I just know if I was in his shoes, this is what I would have did. The Dodgers offered that man, like, what? Was it 4 years, $80 million? Was it like 4 years, 80? It was something stupid.
It was something ridiculous. It was
something stupid. He was going to make like $40 million a year for like 3 years or 4 years. And yeah, I think it was something crazy. Can you look that up? Because I want to know exactly what it is he turned down.
Yeah, 1 second.
Because it's vital information.
Let's see.
It's vital information.
Dodgers, Bryce.
My point here.
Harper.
Yeah, that's what it was. I knew it was. They offered him 4 years, worth $45 million a year.
Yeah.
And he was like, deal. And he was like, nah. And that was and what was that? What year was that?
19, right? Yeah.
So like when I remember when they offered him that deal and it was 28. I'm not 28, 26, which means he'd be a free agent at 30 and probably could have signed another 7-year deal.
Yep.
And got another 30 million. But, he said something that made a lot of sense to me. He said something after he signed it. He was like, I could have took the short deal for a lot of money, but I wanted the years so that he didn't have to go through the process of being a free agent again. Like he for the next 13 years, or at least now, 10 years, he's living in Philadelphia. You raise a family, you raise, you build a life. So it makes sense, and it's not even so much the money. It's just the fact that you could have went to LA, I think, in that terms, got paid a ton of money. Probably had a chance to win a ring at some point over those 4 years, might have won 1, maybe 2. And then at 30 years old, been a free agent, and then took the 7 to 8 to 10-year deal. That's just some way I would have looked at it if I was in his shoes. But
also
again, that to me at the time that was the Dodgers being like, hey, you're not overrated.
Yeah. Yeah, they were the only team besides obviously the Phillies that I feel like gave Bryce a legit offer. And when he first went to Philly, I was like, dude, this looks weird. But he honestly, like, the Nationals are a thing of the past. He's a
thing.
He's a Philly man. Looks right, and it's cool, man.
And I think the same thing is going to happen with Chris Bryant. That was the point of all that. I think, like, wherever Chris Bryant goes this year, I think he reminds people that I was once an MVP. I could win MVP again. Exactly. I'm Chris Bryant.
Yeah, I'm Chris Bryant, dog.
There's a reason that pitchers throw me 7 sliders in a row.
Dude, yes. Thank you. Yep. There's a reason why pitchers don't like throwing me straight shit. So,
yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what the rumors are either. I know there's some teams being tossed around with, like, the Phillies and stuff, but I don't know. The thing I think people don't take into perspective, I'll say now more than ever, I feel like players really look into where they'll be living more than they ever have over the, I feel like free agency 10, 20 years ago was more about just players got the big contract. They didn't give a fuck. They were out. And nowadays I feel like, they're looking for the right contract, but also with the right team.
Where they're at.
Not even from where they're at, which I feel like I'd do the same thing too. Like, for sure.
Especially when you reach into, when you get into this all factors in. When you hit 26, 27, 28, later 20s, early 30s, and you're a free agent and you're about to sign a deal for the next 5 to 7 years. Because I think Bryce Harper is a unicorn. I think the whole 10 to 12-year deal is kind of out. But when you're about to sign this,
teams don't want to give that.
They don't want to give that. When you're about to sign this 5 to 7 year deal, you're looking at where you're going to be living for the next 5 to half a decade to a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, it's kind of where you're going to be raising a family or starting a family. Where do you want to do that at? That factors into a lot of it, on top of wanting to win, So I've always felt like guys kind of go back home, go back close to home, something, kind of relative to home in terms of where they're from. But I think in today's political society world, America, I think that has also altered some people's decision making on where they want to live, where they want to play. So free agency would be interesting, real interesting, man. I wonder how that even affects some things. Have you thought about that? I wonder how. The whole COVID-19 requirements for certain teams affect some of these players' free agencies and decisions that they'll be making for their families and stuff like that.
Without knowing
the man,
just judging on where he was and where he went to. Marcus Semien was playing in communist Canada, and he was probably like, dude, F this shit. I can't bring my family over the border unless they fucking have certain paperwork. I don't know if they do or not, but I'm just saying the whole process is a pain in the ass. And now he's going to Texas, which is a very, very, very open state to how you want to live your life. So
I just wonder if that factors into some of these free agents' decisions.
You think it's got to, for sure. Like, why would anyone want to play in California right now, especially LA? LA is like, dog.
LA at that.
You need to show papers to go places. Like, what?
Yeah,
dude, this is the United States of America.
And it's not. And granted, this might not affect the player, right? Because the players' union and they're not required to do. But then it's also like what that player does outside and off the field. And again, like you said, what that means for that player's family and where they're raising, or, starting a family or raising a family. So just another factor that just dawned on me. Pretty interesting. So we'll see, man. Free agency is exciting. Free agency is exciting for right now. A little shift in sports, though. I know you hate the NBA, but I love it, so I love to bring it up. I don't love the NBA. I love to watch basketball, actually. So I'm going to bring it up. Warriors, best team in the NBA right now. Told you to watch out for them. And they don't even have Klay Thompson and James Wiseman on the court. Suns, my other favorite team, 15 in a row. And Chicago Bulls, I believe, are second in the East. Maybe second in the East or first in the East, something like that. Just teams that, like, I think are
Bulls are second, I believe.
I think Bulls are second. But
like the Nets. I want to say the Nets are one.
Yeah, the Nets are first. But like exciting teams to watch because of the players. And honestly, what the Warriors are doing, I think, is amazing because Curry and Draymond, they're not young cats anymore. Like, they're seasoned vets. And they're kind of running circles around some teams that just can't keep up. And it's pretty impressive that they've been doing it for we're going on almost 9 years now.
Yeah.
So, and the Suns are very impressive. I want to say this too about the Suns and Chris Paul, because I used to be a very, very non-fan of Chris Paul. Anti-Chris Paul. I used to think he was just annoying as a basketball player. I have gained a lot of respect, not because he plays for my second favorite team, but because his game actually makes everybody better. His game makes everybody better, and I think he has proven to be a true leader. And really, I started to gain respect for him in OKC because that team had like nothing when they traded Westbrook for him, and he took that team to a competitive state, which was very impressive. And then look at what he does when you give him another star like Devin Booker, and you give him a talented big man like DeAndre Ayton, and they go to the finals. So I think he deserves, I know he's already considered one of the greats to play, but he's really impressive to watch now, especially because he's a little older. So it's pretty cool, man. NBA is fun. The NBA is
I will say about the Warriors is now, to me, I don't think it matters, but I don't know. I'm not too familiar how sports treat this, but I feel like the basketball world kind of does. Steph Curry hasn't won a Finals MVP yet. I want to see him win one. I don't think he needs.
Yeah,
he's won. And he's going to be he's going to be the best shooter ever to play, and arguably one of the best. You're going to have to include him. I don't give a fuck in the top 10 player list of all time. At the end of the day, when his career is all said and done,
but top 3.
Yeah,
and that might be a reach. And I'm only saying that because usually those conversations
transcendent
include
player. He changed the way the game's played right now.
Those conversations,
every team plays the way Steph Curry
include
Yep.
The greatest of all time conversations include players who, like you said, were transcendent of the game. And
he did.
When you think of players that did that, sure, you might think of Kareem. You might think of
Wilt, Jordan,
and LeBron, who like, you know, I mean, they were transcendent players. They just did things that you hadn't seen done before. And the reason I didn't mention Kobe in that is because everything Kobe has done, as great as he is, you saw Jordan do.
You saw Jordan do it, yeah.
You never seen anybody do anything Curry's doing. Like, nobody. I don't care at any point era of the game, the way he impacts a game is unlike anybody else, which is why he has to be mentioned in that conversation.
It's I'm telling you, it's
inevitable.
Steph Curry, I'd like to see him just get that Finals MVP. Like, he doesn't need it, but
see, I think
it would be cool to check it off the resume.
I think that kind of also speaks volumes to the player he is, because sure, he won some finals, and Iguodala got it that first year when they didn't have Durant. But then you have Durant, and it's like, yeah, I'm Steph Curry, arguably one of the greatest players of all time.
And we got to be honest, Curry wasn't playing, but he wasn't playing well in a lot of those finals too. He struggled, you know.
He did. Yeah. He did. I'm no disrespect, I left Kevin Durant out of that conversation. Also, I think he's a transcendent player. Like, he's 7 feet and he's a guard, you know, that shoots, handles the rock.
Yep.
So you're right. I think he's easily like one of those top five conversations, because again, if you mention transcendent players, you're looking at guys like Wilt, Kareem, Jordan, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, players that are just one of a kind, once in a lifetime. You know, that even you have replicas. Like who is your replica of Steph Curry?
There is none. It's gonna come after. The closest thing to it is Trae Young, and that's just because he started mimicking the game not too long ago. But there's gonna be a kid. There's a kid right now who's like 10 years old, 12 years old, 8 years old, 5 years old. There's kids that old right now that are trying to be
Steph Curry.
So we won't see the Steph Curry effect probably for another 10 years, 5 to 10 years, you know? So I don't even know who you'd consider the top 5 best players right now. I think you can stop after you name like 2 or 3. I think the league's so trash right now. I think there's a lot of upside with some young talent, but they're not in the echelon of elite yet, you know?
Top, I think you got 5 in there because you can't fill that up without naming LeBron, without naming Curry, without naming Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, that's 4 there. And then that 5th spot, you're going to argue and debate for a while with guys like Damian Lillard, with guys like
Jokic for
Denver. That 5th spot is going to be arguable, but I think those first 4 that I just named are like undeniable, because
and that's why I said
they still dominate the game.
3.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is a lot of young bucks. Like, the Anthony Edwards kid is exciting and has a game. Yeah. He's got an all around game. I think he can shoot. He's athletic. He's strong. I wasn't too sold on these new 2 rookies, Cunningham and what is it? Jalen, I forgot his last name.
Houston, Jalen Green.
Green, yeah. I wasn't sold on them when I seen them, but like, they're young and they could be something. They're both athletic. They handle the ball. They shoot. And then you got the Ball brothers, like Lonzo Ball. You got Lamelo Ball, who's exciting. I mean, like, he could be the face of the league in 5-6 years, easy.
What's the kid from
Zach LaVine? You got a lot of young talent that's like.
What's the kid from Cleveland? The young kid. Forward.
Cleveland.
What's his name? Not Mobley.
Forward on Cleveland?
Yeah. They just drafted him.
He's a rookie this year?
Yeah.
That's not ringing a bell. Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not ringing a bell for me. I'm not sure. He's a forward?
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. Because he's pretty damn good, too.
Drafted this past year, 2021?
Yeah. God, come on, man. The frick. God, I can't. Dude, when's the last time they played? Jeez, here we go. Box score.
I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we go.
Is he hurt? I don't even see him on here. Huh. Wow, Kevin Love still plays basketball.
Yeah. Oh, Mobley. Yeah, you're talking about from USC.
Yeah, that kid.
Yeah. 7-footer.
Yeah. So
yeah, they are. There's some young. There's a lot of young talent that I think is actually fun to watch.
The last 2 to 3 drafts have been really good with, I think, a new whole like splurge of talent. I will say, I know not to disrespect him, because I actually think you could say he's probably in the top 5 of best players is Luka.
I'm sorry. That's he's arguably unstoppable. So, that's what I'm saying. I think that 5th spot you would debate some guys like him, Lillard. I just can't leave Lillard out of there. So, and those players that are in that top 5, like LeBron, KD, Curry, Giannis, like you said, they're reaching later 20s, early 30s, mid 30s. So it'll be interesting to see 5 years from now, especially because there's not a lot of prospects that are hyped up to be the next big thing right now. Of course, every draft's going to have a lottery, but I don't know the hype around any college kids. I know the Duke has a kid. I know the Gonzaga kid is pretty popular right now. The 7-footer, who he seems to be like he's got a game too, pretty athletic. Just needs to get stronger. But the hype around these younger kids coming out of college right now doesn't really have like a sense of storm the league, which is pretty interesting, because the NBA relies on its players to kind of push the league forward. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think for sure Lamelo Ball, like you mentioned not too long ago, is going to develop into one of the faces of the game. I think that kid is going to be unguardable.
Yeah,
especially with the right supporting cast. He's just too tall. He just sees the floor so well. He just understands the game. He can shoot. It's just
he's not
going to be a
scared.
freaking problem.
He's not like he thrives in the moment. Looks for it at least. So it'll be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it too. I don't follow the NBA as much as I used to, just because like they just care way too much about outside shit instead of playing the game, and it's just so fucking frustrating to watch. It's just like so fucking frustrating. But I love Curry. I remember when he got drafted, I liked him a lot, and seeing his career, just what he's done. I hope he gets I think he can still get 2 or 3 more rings. I think the Nets are a fucking problem still. I know they have like the old man super team, but if Kyrie's able to play this year, that fucking team's stupid. They're gonna run through the East. And then I think Giannis, everyone hates on Giannis, but that dude is a gamer, and that's what matters. Like in these games, is you got to have the shots and stuff, but this dude, I don't care what anyone says. I know they'll say, oh, he hurts his team more than he helps his team, but that dude's a fucking freak, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There should be no slander of Giannis and the Bucks. They just won the NBA championship, and it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke.
Not at all.
They beat a good team. They beat good teams to get there. There's no fluke in that. So
nope.
There should be more slander of the teams who didn't beat them.
Dude, seriously. I just think the NBA is going through a transitional phase right now with its best players.
Yeah,
the new core is very young, and we'll see who passes the torch. LeBron. I know you could still include him in a top 5 list, but they kind of passed the torch semi to feel like Durant. Like you could say Durant and like Curry are like the guys carrying it right now, but that torch is going to get passed very soon to someone who's 23, 24 years old, who's going to be the guy like LeBron was, like Kobe was, like, Jordan. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up and takes it.
2 things before we move on from the NBA. One, left out Jason Tatum, who's getting a little flack right now, but that kid has a game that I think is a little more traditional, of course, like the Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, but kid can score. He can play. He'll be a face also. And then the other thing the NBA is probably patiently waiting on, high school kids will be able to be drafted the year Bronny James Jr. is eligible, which is, I think, 2 years from now.
Dude, which never should have got changed anyways, because in all honesty, the one sport that you can play right out of high school at a professional level is the NBA.
Basketball.
You don't have to be big and strong. Yeah. It's literally one of the only, like, that in soccer. Like soccer, you don't have to be a certain body type. Like if you're skilled enough, you can play it. Basketball is like that. High school kids should be able to go to the league. And
I mean, they technically can, because they can go to the G League and then you can get drafted out of the G League, but that's no different than going to college. You know what I mean?
I'll just say, like, being like fresh out of high school, 17, 18 years old, I feel like the reason why I got changed in the first place was so many teams were busting on picks. And I'm like, dude, don't put that on the player. Put that on the fucking front office.
That's on the guys.
Sucking. I could have told you. I was in like high school and middle schools being like, Sebastian Telfair ain't it. Kwame Brown ain't it.
Ain't it. Yeah,
I'm in fucking middle school saying that.
There's some guys that are not it, but when Bronny James is eligible,
pick. All I'm saying is like a top 5 pick. I'm not saying
take them later in the
league. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like,
and here's why I think Bronny James gets drafted out of high school. The rule changes. I'm not saying that the NBA would do that strictly just for him, although it is LeBron James' son, and the league does definitely tailor around LeBron James. But if he doesn't get drafted, like, where's a kid like LeBron James Jr. go to college? Where does he go to college?
UCLA. Seriously, why? I mean, don't they live in LA? UCLA.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like that, I think a kid with that.
I mean, is he good enough for the league? He's going to get the opportunity because of the name, but is he that good?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he good?
I don't know.
I don't follow the circuit. I'm sure.
I know he's athletic. I know he's jumping out the gym. I know he's jumping out the gym right now. I don't know his game. I haven't seen enough to say that he's a future number 1 pick. And I think even if he's not, that's still going to be the expectation placed upon him just because of who his dad is, of course. Like, there's too much following of him. Playing basketball. He's LeBron James' son. I mean, LeBron James, who I still give a lot of credit to in the sense that he was drafted at 18 years old and he's now, almost 40. And, like, he's been this essentially perfect human being. Essentially in the NBA from 18. That's not easy to do for people. So,
he lived up the hype he had coming out of high school.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people don't live up to hype, and he's lived up to the hype all the way through and through. I can't even think of the last person to do that, especially in the NBA. Like, I mean, that didn't have some sense of a fall off. LeBron James has been essentially a competitive player. Team has been competitive since 2006. Since 2006.
I mean, shit. Maybe I think didn't his rookie season they make the playoffs? I feel like he's been relevant since he stepped in.
I don't know if they made the playoffs his rookie season. I think they made the playoffs his second season.
But even still, it's like
and that's what I'm saying. Like, you just don't see that. Like, even Kobe had this. He had a stint where his team wasn't good.
They were talking about trading him.
Melo in that same draft, Wade, and it's like, LeBron James just lived up to the hype, and that's why I think that same type of hype is going to be placed upon his son, especially with social media in today's world. So it'll be interesting to see, for sure. Real interesting to see what happens with that. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know what else you want to what else you got on the docket, man? You know, I could run a little longer. You know, I got some things I could talk about. You know, I got I've been looking at you know what I really want to do, dude? I want to, and I don't think you can do this anymore. It has to be a loan. But remember when during like there was a time frame where they waived like penalties for withdrawing money from your 401k? Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
2020.
Yeah.
I don't think you do that anymore, because if you could, dude, I'd probably take out like 10, 15K and put that in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I was gonna jump into this crypto because I know how you feel about the metaverse, and I'm essentially feeling the same. Like it's this virtual reality thing is very very weird to me. But I think all of crypto is in the very, very premature stages. And it's crazy. It still is. No, it's crazy to think. It's crazy to think that like there's already been a lot of profitable gains made by a lot of people in crypto. And I think it's still early across the board. Even Bitcoin, really early on Ethereum, call them your meme coins, your altcoins, Mana, Decentraland. Like remember we came across that and I was like, buying land in a virtual world just doesn't even make sense.
And now you're here. Yeah. And now you're here.
And when they do it, and this thing, up. This isn't like, in my opinion, you know, shares of a company in the stock market that takes time. This is something that I don't want to say happens overnight, but it happens like that, because the digital world moves so much faster, which is why I think the crypto market is so volatile, because everything that's digital and technology based just moves so fast to where next year, this time, you could be looking at prices on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, Mana, Sheeb, very popular coins, and they're, you know, quadrupled easily quadrupled.
Yep.
Because who knows what, you know, I mean, and on top of the fact that you have companies and brands in some way making, you know, getting a footprint into the metaverse. Yeah, I think Bitcoin's not done. Bitcoin's not even close to being done. It's not.
No, Bitcoin.
It hasn't even started. Ethereum hasn't even started. All kinds of things. Mana too, like you said. Mana might be $100 at the summertime, at the fall next year.
No, like you don't know the cap on Mana, because if people start using it to buy land in this fucking metaverse, dude, that's gonna shoot up. Like I kind of had to sell it to take gains. I know you had a lot of it too, and you sold earlier before the bump, but it's like I don't think it's a bad time. I mean, it's like, let's say it's at $5 right now. It's just
still get in. It's still worth a $2,000 investment.
If you can leverage it, yeah, dude, because that shit could go to 10, 20. Who
still
knows?
In my opinion, that is a real thing when it comes to, I think it was like 2.4 million a plot of land just sold for in Decentraland. So like when you see something like that, it's a risk. Of course, anything that's an investment is a risk. But like if you take $1,500 to $2,000 and you buy what might cost you now, you know, 500 Mana tokens, that $2,000 investment a year from now could be a 5-figure return. Those could be astronomical numbers. And that's the thing, dude. The thing about crypto is like it is astronomical. Like when you look at a year chart on Bitcoin, this time last year, it was like 18 G's a coin. And it hit 65 G. So that's an astronomical like margin increase. I just think that it's so early to where, you know.
So yeah, no. And like, I do want to buy, I've been bad, bro. Like I think for me is I'm one of those people that I try not to spend money when like spend it rationally based on what I'm holding for like my like pocket money. And then, you know, how I spend that, because I want to sell more of my sports cars and then dump that into crypto more for like long-term holds. Like I used to buy Bitcoin more often than I sold some. I still have a small share on an offline wallet, but I want to put more into it consistently. I need to start doing that. I should do it right now. Like I should just throw like $50 on Bitcoin. Just keep buying it and never stop. Just like once a week, dump 25, $50 into Bitcoin, just keep buying it. Because I think that's just the one, that you really don't know. I think for any of them, you don't know, but people can shit on whatever they want to shit on for the name of a coin, or if it's a joke or a rug pull, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, if there's a community for it, and if there's whoever's the head of that coin or token that's trying to make it applicable into the real world, dude, it's a great investment. As long as you're not putting in money you can't afford to lose, it's a great investment, and that just brings it to like a coin like Shiba Inu. Even if it started out as a joke, you now have a guy, Satoshi, whatever his name is, trying to make it applicable everywhere. It just
not trying, it is,
right? And it's like, and it is, but it's like
you're gonna be able to buy movie tickets.
But it's like, is that like official though? Like, do we know if that's like official?
AMC officially announced that within 60 to 120 days, they're accepting Shiba Inu.
Right. And then you get more of that, and it's like, okay, boom, now you have this coin. Yeah, okay, that one specifically has a lot in circulation and a lot were created, but you give it time and some years, dude. If you're holding that, it could fucking take off. And it doesn't mean at that time, maybe you don't want to sell it for fiat like the US dollar. Maybe you choose to hold it and you're just rich in Shiba Inu, or maybe you convert it to like Bitcoin. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's just so much possibility. And
yeah, I think it was Hillary Clinton. The saint that she is, made a statement about, I think it was either made the statement about crypto or Bitcoin. I don't know if she generalized crypto, but she just said that it threatens, the currency, something like it threatens the dollar currency, the traditional currency. And I don't think she's wrong, because if you decentralize how people can obtain goods, like that becomes like a wild, wild west, in my opinion.
I'm telling you.
And I think we just live in a society now where younger generations don't value the same things. And if you tell me, hey, like you just said, I don't need to be rich in American fiat currency. I'm rich in Shiba Inu, or I'm rich in Ethereum, or I'm rich in Mana. I have 500 million, tokens, or 5 million tokens of Mana. I'm rich in that. I think you allow people to determine what's valuable to them, and that alone is like, that is scary to an extent, because I think it's limitless in possibilities, in my opinion. And that's kind of what we're at. I think it's the early stages of right now with the whole virtual reality world, metaverse, NFTs, and crypto. It's a space where you cannot control it. I think there's a way that they're trying to figure out how to control it, how to centralize it, how to regulate it. And I don't think you can regulate it. I don't think it's good to regulate it. I think it's actually better to just be left free, kind of like, it's like it's something new. We've never been here before, and it's
here's my thoughts on it. If Bitcoin specifically isn't a psyop and it wasn't created by like the CIA or NASA, whoever the theory is behind it, and it was created by Satoshi Yamamoto, whatever. I know I'm butchering his name. It was generally created. There's going to come a time where no more Bitcoin are going to be created, and there's going to be a limit, and that's it. And then maybe that FOMO will then pump it up even higher. But the point I'm trying to make is I do think we're moving into a time where people are going to have more freedom. As crazy as that sounds right now, with all the craziness you see in the world, I think it's because you have these people who know it's going that way, and they're trying to get ahead to control it, so people don't realize how much potential freedom they're going to have. If you have something like Bitcoin that a nation could implement as their national currency and pay off their debt to a fucking national bank, to the banking, bullies, mafia, cabal, dude, that's freedom. Like, because pretty much every country is controlled by a central bank, and they're all in fiat debt currency. So it's like, you clear your debt to them and you have financial stability, dude. And like, it's a wrap. That's freedom. Like, so I think there is a lot of, and I know, like, on the other side, people get worried to say, oh, they're just conditioning people to like be trapped on like the blockchain and all that stuff, which they're great points, but it's, there is an opportunity for decentralization with these cryptos, dude. And yeah, you probably have nations, especially like the United States, who will try to implement their own to say, oh, we only accept this one, like stores only accept this. And it's like, I don't even know if you can do that.
It's bad for business.
It's bad for business. Exactly. It's bad for business. Like, it's so, I think there is a lot of, especially with crypto, maybe, I don't know how many coins will survive, but when the dust clears, but yeah, I think the future.
I'm gonna be honest with you, me personally, I just think it's in the early stages. And I think the smartest thing, I think the smartest thing you can do is you risk the money you can afford to risk in your investment. Mm-hmm. You take your gains and you reinvest.
At least in the Bitcoin. Yeah.
At least in Bitcoin. Like, but with crypto, I think it's an investment tool. Because it's so early, I think it's hard to lose. I think you just have to be patient. And when you do see gains, substantial gains, take those substantial gains and reinvest them into something that does have more, that is more tangible in a sense, like real estate, because that's something that's never going anywhere. And that doesn't just mean, physical real estate. Invest it into virtual real estate in some form of capacity, because that's also at the very, very early stages, in my opinion, that can bring you some sense of, financial freedom. So I remember we had to talk earlier this year. It was kind of just like, hey, why not just go and buy up these cheap coins as an investment and see what happens a year from now? Because it's so early. It's so early that you don't know.
I know. I kind of thought 2 years ago, now we're going on to 2022. So maybe it's almost even 3 years ago. I thought I was late to the crypto game. And now looking at it, I'm like, dude, it's still early. There's still so much time. And yeah, things are more expensive than they were, but doesn't mean you still can't get in on some shit. Yeah, I just think, dude, so much potential. The nerd dork masters of mankind are definitely trying to guide it a certain way, but I just think there's just too much potential for financial freedom for sure.
And again,
whether that's
not to cut you off, I just really think there's an innocent way that you could, you go about it. Like you said, money that you can afford to risk it and forget about it.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I haven't really spent some money. Like, I have money I could invest in, but I'm like, well, I'm not going to see returns on this right away, and I kind of needed to put it somewhere else. So that's kind of why I'm not in the spending mood, unless I move some money with like cards. I'll definitely, because there's some coins I'm looking at that I'm like, man, I'd throw like, X amount of dollars at you right now, but it's just more so of like a principle of spending for like my peace of mind. You know what I mean? Like shit, I was looking at my because I invest some like a portion of my own 401k in the stock market. And I was looking at some place today, and I'm like, oh, I might drop like $500-$600 on this. And then I was kind of like, just not feeling the stock market right now. I have about almost 1,000 just in cash. I know it's not a lot. It could be a little more that are just sitting on the sidelines right now, waiting for some like major tank to like fucking buy in on something. But
yeah, me personally, I pulled everything out of the stock market about a week ago. I wasn't feeling the way it was moving. I don't know what, but I think something bad's coming at the end of the year, top of the year for the stock market. And I didn't want to be a part of it. I could be wrong. Could be something good.
I need to find a way to make sure I can't lose any of my 401k.
Pulled it all out.
Yep.
And I got more faith in crypto right now. And like I said, I'm really into some type of real estate investment, so that I think that's more like it's just more tangible for me. I love tangible things. And I got to shout out. We had he pointed out, and it dawned on me. So right, we had Gray on here, kid producer. His dad, I know his dad pretty well. and he watched one of our episodes, and we were talking about NFTs, and I told the hill that I died on was that tangible, collectibles won't go anywhere, and he pointed out that NFTs are tangible, and he's absolutely right to the extent that, like, if you play like a video game and you get like a specific like power up or a specific suit in that video game or specific like valuable in that video game, that's tangible in that world. So to call it like intangible, I think is incorrect. And I wanted to correct that. And that's why I think like when you reinvest money or when you take gains from something like the stock market or crypto and you reinvest it into tangible things, it just allows for you to kind of assure that that money's not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I'm at with any type of investment. Is I invested to have gains so I can reinvest into something a lot more sustainable over a long term and more of a longevity period to it, in my opinion. I just think and I think we're in the early stages of it. Like when it comes to actually, being able to make something happen for yourself, crypto is like really, really early right now. And I don't think it's going anywhere. I know there's like this fear. No. I do have this fear that you could wake up one day and they just pull the switch and they turn it off and like all your money disappears. But
can't turn it off though. Can't turn the internet off.
Yeah, you just can't. And I think, and as quiet as it's kept, I think everybody's involved. When I mean everybody, I mean everybody in the sense of like what they call whales, big players, big corporations, government, like everybody owns some piece of crypto. That's how you know it's not going anywhere.
Oh yeah. And you have the people that are most affected by it, in terms of how they have a control on society, they're very vocal about why it needs to go away. So that's why it's not going away.
Yep. And you look at things like athletes. I think Odell's taking his whole salary in Bitcoin.
Smart man.
And like when you see stuff like that, that's sure that might seem like a that might seem like a risk for some people. That might seem like a smart decision. That might seem like a what is it? I forgot the business term, like a first mover or something. It might seem unorthodox, but people like athletes.
Well, we'll just do this real quick. Check this out. Like
people in those positions have some type of advisory, and I just think people don't make stupid decisions when they're playing with a lot of money, man.
So we'll just use Odell. Let's just say his contract was for $1 million this year. And he was like, pay me. And let's just say they agreed upon a price. I mean, because that's a volatile market. We'll just say that they were like, yo, Bitcoin, they averaged their shit out. We'll just say like, oh, we'll just say that we're going to pay you in Bitcoin at 50,000. So he just got, we'll just say, I'm again, hypotheticals, 20 Bitcoin at 50K. Dude, next year, those one Bitcoins that were once valued at 50K are now valued at 200K or 100K. Now it's like, wow, he just doubled that just from getting paid in Bitcoin. So that's why it's a cool.
And he could never play another down of football in his life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the bigger picture there, where, like I said, it's so early. I know price points. I've seen in multiple places. Price points for Bitcoin is 100K before even the end of this year, and we're in like December. And price points for Ethereum is at 10K. We're in December. And when I see that type of stuff, realistically, for me, I think that all has to do with like, manipulating some markets and some with inside information or not having the information. But when you see people pretty much betting on that in the sense like, okay, yeah, they're anticipating that within 30 to 60 days, but push that actually out to like more like 6 months. And that to me seems realistic to where springtime Bitcoin is $80,000 a coin. Ethereum is, $12,000 a coin. And again, if you bought one Ethereum token right now for under 5 Gs, 6 months from now, your investment of 5 Gs just made you 6 Gs. Like that's an investment that is worth it.
Yep.
Yep. That's why but you can only do that with money that you can afford to do that with. And I think that's the hard part for a lot of, everyday people. That's why it takes money to make, that's the thing.
It's not easy.
It takes money to make money, but
I'm not. Yeah,
there are smart ways you can do it. Like you said, if you even just throwing $50 at a coin every week is like, you don't have to do it in large sums.
Sometimes slow and steady, man, still wins.
When you do it, it does. When you do it $50 a week, and that $50 a week goes from the 50 you put in last week is now worth 60. That's still a return over time, man. Over time. So
yeah, and shit. There's no better time than now. You know, you could always say, "Oh, it's too late," but there is really no, like, how do you know what the next ceiling and floor is? You know what I mean? So you might as well just buy now. Like for you, this is your ceiling and floor whenever you get in. You know, you can't look at prices 10 years ago and go, "Oh, well, since I didn't get in there, I can't get in." It's just not. Like,
prime example. I give you back to Mana. Prime example, because I was just thinking about this the other day. I bought Mana at 30 cents. 30 cents. I bought like 400 tokens. 30 cents. Sold it right before the boom. It was like 80 something cents. It's like 80 something cents, and it's at $5. And sure, I could sit here and I'm like, fuck, shouldn't have sold it. But I'm also like, maybe I should just cop the 400 again because it might go from $5 to, you know, it might go from $5 to $20, and especially with the movement of the metaverse. So, you know, it's. Dude, I think it's so early, man. It's so early.
I would love to get back into Mana. You know, the money I want to get in on, I'd have to spend some racks, but shit, even throwing like 500 at it would get you, you know, some nice tokens.
Go get 100 tokens.
Go get 100 tokens. Exactly. Not 100 tokens. Shit. Again, especially a coin like that, which is purchasing fucking this digital land, dude. That's that $5 today, $8 tomorrow, $10 in 2 weeks, and shit. Who knows? Maybe
$20 in 2 months. Like that's the type of movement of coin. That's the type of movement
your $5 you put down could turn into $2,000. That 500 could turn into $2,000, $3,000.
Just like that.
Just like that. You know.
So yeah. But yeah, man, that's all. That's a little more SHIB news. SHIB is supposed to be listed on Kraken. I love SHIB. I love the community. I think it's a really cool coin. Like you said, I can't wait to get a dog. And if anything, that is at the earliest of its stages. And that might change a lot of people's lives in a year from now because it is becoming applicable. There's supposedly a play to earn. I forgot. I don't even know all the proper terms, but like there's a video game, a play to earn the coin. I think NFTs involved, and sky's the limit for a coin like SHIB.
And the community keeps growing. That one specifically, you know, the army on Reddit is about 440,000 people.
Yeah, pushing 500,000. Yeah.
And that's huge. So you get that community grow to 500, then 1 million. More, I think it just reached 1 million holders a week ago. The whole time keeps on going up. You know, I think that's a cool coin, man, to where we were hoping for, you know, a quicker boom. But yeah, 2022, maybe by like the summertime, you're looking at that thing having trimmed off a zero, and then it's hanging at that next level, you know, in the 3s, 4s, 5s with some crazy gains.
That's why early stages right now. Still in the early stages. A lot of coins are like that, though. A lot of other coins are like that, you know. And I, you know, again, for the 12 people that listen to this is not financial advice. And I know absolutely nothing. I am very ignorant to crypto and crypto investing. I just make decisions predicated on what I think is good for me. You should do the same. You should research your own things. People should, you know, research anytime they're going to spend some money on something. It's no different than if you were to go buy a shoe, if you were to go buy a shirt. You don't go in there, you don't buy that without knowing what you're buying. So, yeah, I think crypto is where it's at, though, right now in terms of investing and seeing some type of return. It's a matter of patience. Also, it's a volatile market, which means you can't make impulsive decisions, which are hard. I've been on that. I've been watching the market and been like, oh my God, it's down. I'm taking my gains right now. I've also been like, oh my God, it's up. I'm going to keep seeing if it goes up and then it goes back down. It's a volatile market. You got to deal with it.
That's my biggest. You have to I have to give myself a speech when I see, especially like There's been other coins I've been heavily invested in, but right now my most like one on balls deep into Shiba Inu. When I saw that, hit the all-time high, and I'm feeling good. I'm like, bro, it's chilling. I like in the 6s, 7s, we good. And then when it got back down to like low 4s, high 3s, I was just kind of like, oh my God. Like I was telling myself, I don't want to take any loss on this investment. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's the dumbest thing I could ever do. Why the fuck? When I was at like a fucking like 7K profit and I took no profits because I'm like pounding my chest being like, this is Sparta. Why the fuck would I sell?
Sell now when it's down.
When it's lit. It makes no sense. Yeah, so I have to pound my chest and be like, no, like, like go to the grave with this fucking loss because it's gonna go back up. It's not made for the week. You gotta have patience. And it's not a rug pull. I mean, if it is, man, then fuck,
you got me. Hey, you got me. Fool me once. Shame on me.
Yeah. I should, take those early gains. But no, it is. It doesn't make sense to sell. I mean, obviously, you gotta cut a loss. If something's dead in the water, you don't want to be caught to the very end. But
I'll tell you what, I learned lessons, and this is with the stock market. AMC seemed like it was dead in the water for months. For months, and I was in on that. And I, took loss, made it back when it started to boom with some nice calls. But I think you only lose when you're impatient and you sell.
Yeah. Well, you can't lose if you don't sell.
You just can't. Like you might be losing.
It's more so
you might be losing at one point.
I think it's all perspective too. Like if you're someone who's like, oh, I have like X amount of dollars and I can't lose it. You invest in something, you see it not going the right way. Yeah, you better pull your money out because that's money you can't lose. But if you're someone, who can take a risk to lose some money, then you might as well just fucking hold it so you see the gain you want. And maybe it never gets to that point, but it's like set it and forget.
But a lot of people, but again, that's back to the point where that's for people who can afford to do that in the sense of, well, I'm going to take this $500 that I kind of need next week and invest it and hope to see a return. And then they're like, shit, I don't want to lose this $500. Can't invest that way.
Well, that kind of happened with me.
Any investment's a risk.
I wanted to get to 100 million coins by a certain price point, and it started getting too hefty. So I was kind of getting balls deep at once, and I was kind of looking like, damn, I'm at like 2,800 invested. I'm like, what if I was to lose this money right now? Like, I could still live. I'll be fine. I could pay my bills, eat, and all this other shit. But I'm like, do I really want to take that mental L knowing I just like lost that much money? You know what I mean? Like it just for mentally, it wasn't a good L to take. But now it's kind of like, well, unless if something like drastic happened to where it went back under 2, then obviously I would fucking sell. I would sell down to a number I know I'm comfortable with. But like,
I think I just.
But I'm not fucking leaving. No,
that's all. No, that's all. That's all. It's all
perspective.
It's all leaving. It's all perspective.
I'm not fucking leaving. I'm pounding the chest. Yeah,
you're gonna feel like shit when it. Like I think not you personally, but people in general. Like, all right, this thing's tanking. I'm gonna sell and I'm gonna cut my losses. You're gonna feel like shit, the same as if you didn't sell, or if you like when you didn't sell when it was up. And like you don't avoid the fit, like you don't feel better when you lose money at any point in time when you lose money. Like there's no point in time where it's like, oh, this feels better than that time, So you might as well just be like, fuck this, I'm gonna ride it out, dude. And if it takes off, I feel better. You don't feel better when you lose.
I don't care how many times I've done an option call. Anytime I put in an option call and right when I do it, that motherfucker goes down. I don't even care if it goes down like $2.
Every time. That's always me. That's always every time I bought a call.
I'm like, oh my God, should I fucking sell? I'm like, I turn into like a cokehead, dude. Like fucking like, I should fucking sell. I fucking knew it. Fucking like just going nuts, dude.
I'm never bought a call. Bro, I've never bought a call. And the minute after I bought it, it doesn't show red. Like it immediately shows red. I'm like, this only happens to me. This only happens to me, dude. Nobody else this happens to. I buy a call, it goes down. And I've gotten burned with some calls. I've also made some great plays with some calls. And it's it's gambling. And to me, it's just like gambling. It's
gambling, 100%.
It's like putting your chips. It's like putting your chips on the crap table and putting them on a roulette board because you as a retail investor, you don't know. Like you can do all the research in the world, and you can have hunches, and you can even make estimates. You can make educated guesses and decisions, but ultimately, you don't know. I'll give you a prime example. I had an Apple call I think I bought it. I think I bought it for like $600 at one point. expiring in January, and it was for like 135 or 145. Made good money, was up on it, real up on it, right? They released their like earnings or something. They're not where they're at. And the stock falls like $6 and the very next day, and I lose like a third of my gains on the call. You know what I did?
What?
I did one of these. I was like, oh, I'm not losing all my gains. I'm selling the call. And then ultimately, to this day, it's already back up to where it was, and I would have had the gains that I lost. And that's why I'm like, when you make impulsive decisions predicated on not wanting to lose money, you never win. You never win.
Right.
You never do. It's to me, it's no different than my perspective on gambling. Like the only way you're going to win big is you got to bet big, and you got to be okay with betting, with losing what you bet. So, it's definitely a matter of patience for me in terms of when you're okay losing. That doesn't mean be stupid. Like, like they say, don't go invest like your rent or your money that you need to eat and expect to see that only come back as a positive, because you could lose it. So don't do that. But if you got money that you were going to go, spend at a bar, if you got money that you were going to go buy some shoes, buy some clothes, buy some material things, invest that, because you don't lose it. If you were going to go buy some shit that you didn't need, or that you were going to, do that you can experience another time, or some money you're going to make back, invest that and see what it turns out to be for you. Again, this is not financial advice. I got
a nice die on the hill segment for you.
Yeah.
It just popped into my head as you were ran there. I'm dying on this hill that after I get the gray 11s, I'm not buying shoes anymore.
Shoes.
Taking a break. Yeah. I won't buy a pair of shoes in 2022. And if I do, it's because I need them to work out in. That's it. I'm not buying any more leisure shoes. No more leisure kicks. Nothing. Done.
Wow. Sneakerhead, huh?
I'm wearing the kicks I got till they fucking fall off my feet walking out of them.
Well, you know what? I can't even argue that, because if you go look at my Instagram story right now, I got about the boxes are sitting right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got about 9 shoes up for sale. And they're up for sale. I just don't want to spend. I'm keeping essential shoes, essential colorways.
I just don't want to spend money on shoes anymore.
And I don't know if I can die on that hill, because I also like I said, I make ignorant decisions, and sometimes shoes come out and I'm like, I want to buy them. I'm buying them. But I do know for the like immediate foreseeable future, I got lucky on the early release on the cool gray 11, so I already have them. I don't need to buy them when they come out. I'm debating on buying those ones because those look clean. The patent leather rat blared and black ones, like those would be nice to have. But there's shoes I personally want from me, like some Bread 4s that I haven't gotten my hands on. And I kind of want those very, very expensive Sean Witherspoon Air Maxes. And I think like those are the only 2 shoes I desire, which means new shoes could come out. And I'm okay if I don't purchase them. I don't feel like I got to have them. But I do look at it differently. Like instead of spending $220, $250 on a pair of shoes, I could also buy like 5 million more Shiba Inu coins.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. So, because right now my target for Sheeb is 150 to 200 million coins. I'm sitting not too shabby with about 110 mil, and I'm trying to get about 40 more million before it does skyrocket. Because I think when you get to that 100 million, 200 million plus, like a year from now, your life could change. So we'll see if that play turns out. That's a cool hill to die on, though. I'll keep it in line with that and say that I can't, if I'm standing on top of a hill and somebody asked me if I would ever buy shoes again based on the shoes that I have right now, I will probably still buy some shoes, unfortunately. It's probably inevitable because shoes are just cool to me, and I like having options. For example, the shoes I'm selling, they're being sold because I never wear them. Like I haven't worn some of these shoes I have that I'm selling that are in great shape. I have not worn in over a year, and I think it's just stupid.
You know what it is?
Of me.
You know what that is?
It's stupid of me because here's why. They have value. So because there's a market for shoes, I have bought these shoes and I have worn them a couple of times, and they still have more value than their retail value of when I bought them, which means it's like my investment can give me some return. And you know what I can do? I can reinvest that, which is why, to me, it doesn't make sense for them to keep collecting dust. So I'm selling shoes I don't wear. I'll tell you what, I'll probably still buy shoes, because if I buy a shoe, it's because I'm going to wear it. I have a rule, honestly, and it's like an unconscious rule. When I buy a new pair of shoes, I buy a new pair of shoes, I wear them. I don't buy shoes and they literally just sit. And if they do, that means that I didn't really want them, or I don't really need them because I have no inclination to wear them immediately. It's like when you're a kid and you get a new toy. You don't put the toy up to not play with it for a week. You buy the toy, you immediately go play with that toy. And that's how I am with shoes. So, if I do, I'm definitely buying some more shoes. And I know that because the shoes that I'm buying are shoes that I want. The hard part is they're not like they're coming out. I have to find them. I have to scavenge the market for them.
Dude, my guilty pleasure with that is like sweatpants and hoodies. Yeah. I just want endless amounts of sweatsuits and just pants I can just look at, and hoodies. Sweatsuits. I just love it. I love fresh hoodies and sweat.
For sure.
But with that, let's wrap it up. I gotta go to the bathroom. I
got some things to do.
I will say, we get this single finished and we can, premiere it at the end of the episode.
It's coming.
Talk more about our album. Till then, see you on the next episode. And thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed this one. Anything else?
Nah, what are we going to call this one? This was a good one.
Sports and crypto.
Great talk. Sports and crypto, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Why not?
Why not? Yeah. All right,
man.
Peace.